All right, here we go. The T-bone.
And chick brew.
Let's God bless. All these years, just get it right one time.
What do you want from me?
40 years they've been trying. You couldn't fire somebody if they were horrible, doing a terrible job for the veterans. And now you can say, you're fired.
Okay. No one listens to radio.
And now for a quick disclaimer. The T-Bone
And chick brew.
show is brought to you by nobody. We have no sponsors.
The show is still rated G.
For glorious.
I recycle.
Prove it.
I mean, for all you know, I do what The Rock does with my empty water bottles and I pee in them when I'm at the gym. You don't know me. You don't know me. You don't know what I do outside of this podcast. I just watched a video about that and I was dying. I was like, one, he doesn't like to go to gyms that have bathrooms. That's weird. Two, that he says that he stays extra hydrated and has to go to the restroom multiple times during his workout. How long are your workouts? Explain that. Then does that mean if you're working out in the same gym as The Rock, there is a very high probability of just multiple bottles of urine also following him from station to station? I have questions.
You know, it doesn't take a lot to hate your favorite celebrity. You know, it's so easy.
I just ruined that for you.
I've had interactions with Dwayne Johnson. He's a nice guy. What was that? Don't move your hands too quickly, okay? I'm armed. You move your hands real quick, I get all jumpy. I've had some interactions with Dwayne Johnson. He's a super nice guy, but the fact, if any of that is true, and of course, I'm sure you found it on the internet, which means it must be true.
He explained it. He explained why there had been a rumor, and he was clarifying that he doesn't do it for fun. It's not reusable water bottles.
Where in the world did you find this?
I will find it again, and I will send it to you.
And I wasn't
anticipating on even bringing it up, but then we were talking about single-use water bottles, and apparently there's multiple uses for single-use water bottles. You drink the water that's in them, and when your body is done with it, you put it back in. Recycling like an astronaut at the gym.
I look down on people who pee in bottles. Because I have served with a lot of people in a lot of places.
Oh, no, that's so mean.
Out of pure laziness. You know, you're on a fob, there's a bathroom nearby, but you got to get your butt up, you got to put on your reflective belt, you got to walk to that bathroom, and you got to use it. But no, they're lazy, so they got themselves a Gatorade bottle. Now, have I almost peed myself trying to get to those bathrooms? Yes. True story. Have I, in extreme circumstances, had to use a Gatorade bottle myself? Yes. But, number one, wide mouth is definitely the way to go. Number two, dispose of your urine bottles properly.
Immediately.
Yeah, and what you would find in the HESCO barriers around the fob is just a bunch of freaking fobbits who never leave the wire, who are always too freaking lazy to do anything, and they pee in a bottle and they throw it in the HESCO barrier that protects them in the event of an attack. And I look down on those people. So if The Rock goes to a gym, oh geez, you sent it to me. If The Rock goes to a gym that has a bathroom but decides he has to pee in bottles.
No, he said it's only when he's in gyms that don't have bathrooms. He was very clear.
What gym doesn't have a bathroom? I think it's like a licensing requirement. You can't have a gym without a bathroom unless it's in somebody's basement and there's a lot of leather involved and some mask and it's not really a gym, if you get what I'm saying.
You know what? I think it's safe to say that you and I are not on the same training level as Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and we might not know as much about gyms as he does.
He's done plenty of videos from inside his gym.
His home gym is
Yeah, there's no.
Why would you ever go to any other gym? Thank you. Thank you. To be fair, why go into the gym? But it is what it is.
Yeah, especially if you're that famous. You can't get a good workout in a gym that doesn't have a bathroom when you're Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson fame level. Yeah.
Maybe the only gyms you can go to because no one goes there because there's no bathroom.
Even still, in today's day and age, how long is that going to last? Hey, get down to the gym. The Rock's here.
You can steal some pee and sell it on eBay.
Well, normally we do this loud and you're back thing before we start the show. But talking about The Rock peeing in bottles takes precedence. So we jumped right into the show today with both feet and an unintended content update. So following, once again, the Jim Holder rules of unsolicited advice on how to make a podcast better. Thanks, Jim. Remember to tell your guest in the first few minutes what to expect in the show. In today's episode, obviously we're going to be talking about the Rock peeing in bottles in gyms of questionable nature. Of course,
gyms of ill repute.
I have to give you
a whole new genre.
Weekly deer report from the deadliest deer state in the nation. We're going to be talking about food, the good, the bad, and unfortunately, the ugly. We're going to be talking about headlines, a special content today returning to comedy, and birthday burns. So that's what we got on the eye roll is ridiculous. That's what I'll tell you more later. That's what we got on the schedule today. If that doesn't pique your interest, well, you know what? Tell Siri to play something else. I'm tired of begging you to listen. You can listen and be mildly entertained for 1 hour a week, or you can listen to something else and be equally mildly entertained. There's nobody out there killing it for an hour straight, but I'm going to tell you right now, the experience that me and Chick Brew bring to the picture is we're good at talking to each other, and we're good about talking about nonsense. A little bit of a sentencing diagram in the way that we do the show. It pretty much repeats itself week after week, but the words change. So it's
the same but different.
It's the same but different. That's it. That's it right there. That is the caption for this week's episode, which I always seem to have a problem coming up with. It's the same but different. And a special shout out to one of our favorite listeners, Jan, who, as I pointed out in the Facebook group, knows how to use the like button. And when I pointed out that Jan knows how to use the like button, you know what happened? People liked that comment, but not the shows that were posted, just that comment.
Jan is more liked than we are on our own page.
Well, I can't blame.
That feels about right. Is this a Jan I've met?
I think you may have come across. I'm also considering, for your consideration, because you were so bad at birthday burns.
Oh, I'm so bad.
And because it makes you so uncomfortable, the uncomfortableness of birthday burns from you is so fun to watch. I thought it would be entertaining to other people. But no one's listening, which is just like when we were on radio.
Fair enough.
We are honestly performing for the same people. We're performing for our moms.
Love you, Mom.
I like to perform for my wife. Today was a special day. We drove to the adult arcade together, and I was listening to us, so she would have to listen to us. And she was
so mean.
I know, right? Torture. And she's sitting in the passenger seat, and she's laughing, and she's having a good time. And that made me feel good, because honestly, the only person I've ever been putting out for is her. Hey, look at me. I'm funny. People laugh. You want a part of this? You want to be part of this? Plus, her workmates used to listen, and then they would tell. If you remember, we actually banned one person from listening to the show because he didn't understand.
He ratted you out.
He didn't understand what the circle of trust was. If you haven't been following along for years, I'll tell you what the circle of trust is. If I say something in this show that could get me in trouble with my wife, and my wife doesn't hear it, that's a freebie. That's a pass. I get away with it. Now, if you snitch, If you go behind my back and you message her, oh, I can't believe what Tony said about you, you will get banned. Technically, technology-wise, we don't have the ability to do it, but we will. And we have banned people from listening in the past. Famous banned people, Bernie. Bernie got banned. I think he got like a 2-week suspension. He couldn't listen to the show. I think we banned Ben. I think Ben got a 2-week suspension for talking out of turn. And that's about it. We've only banned 2 people, but you could be next. So keep your mouth shut, unless it's funny.
Could be you.
Unless it's funny, then you're allowed to talk about it. Funny trumps everything. So,
it's funny because where my mother-in-law is from, Trump is like slang for fart. And so when people are like, oh, that Trump's sad, I'm like, it's funny in my head. When you say funny farts everything, it's a fart joke in my head every time.
I'm here for you. I am not often told to be the deliverer of head fart jokes, but apparently I accomplished that today. I have got a lot to talk about this week. Of course, I'm always interested in finding out what you got going on this week. So let's spin the wheel of destiny and find out where it lands. What are we going to talk about now? It's time to talk about cooking.
And tonight proved one thing. You know, all.
So, tell me, what's the haps at the Institute of Culinary Institute there in Manhattan, New York State?
Is this University of Maryland, University College Global Campus?
You know how much I hate that school. I went to the College of Maryland College. Oh, aren't you a genius? Aren't you the
If you can figure out how to put that name in anything, you've automatically earned your degree.
You are a collegiate. Look at you. Do you have an associate's degree? You idiot. But it's accredited. Sure it is. Pay your money or give your...
Look, these get degrees. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, no one cares.
It doesn't matter.
Until you're a hiring official like me and you give arbitrarily points for people who at least claim to have a degree. Let the HR people figure out you don't have a degree. Put it down. Except do not do that. Whatever. There are some applications that could constitute perjury. Perjury is a felony. I am not abdicating. Abdicating? Yes, I'm definitely abdicating. I am not encouraging perjury on any level. Unless, again, you're using TK's alibi service. And TK's alibi service, perjury is number 1. I'm still there for you.
Perjury is key. The key to your freedom.
So, for anyone who doesn't know at this point, well, welcome. You're a new listener. Chick Brew is a student currently at the the Manhattan Institute of Culinary things. What
Institute of Culinary Education.
What is it?
Institute of Culinary Education.
I like my names much better. I love them. That doesn't even sound like a good acronym. Institute of Culinary.
ICE.
Oh, ICE. Is that like racist because, ICE breaks up all the illegals that are working in kitchens around the country on a regular basis under previous administrations?
It wasn't until now. Thank you. It was fine until you touched it. I feel like you've heard that before.
So, what's going on in the cooking school or the cooking college?
Well, I'm almost done. I cannot.
Oh.
Yeah. I am about to finish my last few weeks. We did hors d'oeuvres and charcuterie boards, and I will never not appreciate the art of making sausages ever again. That is so tedious.
Yeah, making sausage.
It's too much. It's not. I can't even laugh at it because I think I lost my whole soul trying to do that.
We've got 3 things we're talking about here at this school this week. We're talking about hors d'oeuvres. We're talking about the word I didn't understand that you said next.
Charcuterie.
What is it?
The big meat and cheese plates.
We'll talk about that, and then we're going to talk about making sausage. Making sausage. But let's go back to the hors d'oeuvres. So I lucked up in the wife lottery, and I got a hot blonde in the house that I call my.
We both married up, and we are well aware.
A hot blonde in the house I call my spouse. That's fun. That's much better than my current wife. She hates being called my current wife. I don't know why.
My ex-girlfriend. She is in fact no longer
your ex-wife. Yeah, that's.
She's ex-girlfriend is technically correct.
Yes, my ex-girlfriend. That is, I like it. Oh, she's gonna slap me when she hears that.
Do not tell her that came from me.
I won't. And if you're lucky, those in the circle of trust, the listeners, won't tell her either, because she's not gonna listen. She'll say she listened, but she'll never listen because she'd hear something like this, like, "What do you mean I'm your ex-girlfriend?" And that's hilariously accurately true. Anyway, she's a hot blonde, and she has these blonde moments. Occasionally, she has a blonde moment. Or she's also smart, and sometimes she fakes the blonde moment with me. So she was calling them hors d'oeuvres.
Hors d'oeuvres.
Yeah, she said something like, and we're talking about the Thanksgiving menu, and she's like, and then I'll make the hors d'oeuvres, and I snapped. I was like, what did you say? She said the hors d'oeuvres. I'll make the what are hors d'oeuvres? And she starts explaining the hors d'oeuvres. Go to big. And I said, do you mean hors d'oeuvres? And she's like, is that how? It was something in the way she answered my question that let me know she was messing with me.
She got you.
Yeah. It was like, she said, is that how it's pronounced? But it was just something there. It was like, oh, you are messing with me. You
got you.
Blonde. All right, so
I'm going to send you some pictures because I love you.
Oh, okay. Well, so what kind of hors d'oeuvres did you make there?
Well, so we made lobster rolls, but what we did was we cooked the lobster and then we rolled it in a brioche and fried it. Those are really good. We made. Did you get them? Did you get the pictures?
I'm looking at them now.
We made mini chicken tacos. Made goat cheese mousse. It was so good. The problem is,
cheese and I love mousse. I don't know if I've ever had them together. Oh my God!
When you have these things, they're little,
right?
And they're super rich and they're delicious.
Yes.
There's so many of them.
What's this piece of bacon in an egg on a bowl of rocks? What is that?
It's not a bacon. It's a stuffed potato chip in an egg custard, in a truffle egg custard.
On top of a bowl of rocks.
Yes. Well, let's hold it upright so you can see it.
You don't serve me eat food. If you give me this plate, I am breaking my teeth on these things that I'm going to, I don't know, maybe it's chocolate, I don't know, crunch. You don't put rocks on a plate.
You don't eat the rocks on the plate. Maybe you do. I know you do.
That's a full-size taco. Stop sending me pictures. That's a full.
You don't tell me what to do. You're not my supervisor.
That's a full-size taco. That's not an hors d'oeuvre.
It's an hors d'oeuvre.
Those are fantastic pictures. All right. It is good to see that you're working. Here's what people don't know. People hear that you live in Spain, and people, have you tried the tapas? Are the tapas delicious? Yeah, they're just
they're all right.
Yeah, they're just. It's not a special thing. It's just hors d'oeuvres, and usually, especially if it's like a big party in Spain, fill up on the hors d'oeuvres because the main course is going to suck. Usually.
I know exactly what events you're speaking of.
Several events. Most of them follow that methodology. All right. So we talked about the hors d'oeuvres.
Hors d'oeuvres.
Yes. The next word you used was...
charcuterie.
Say it again, slowly.
Charcuterie.
Charcuterie.
Charcuterie. Yep, and that's the last picture I sent you was our whole setup. So it included, we made smoked bacon, we made foie gras, we made salami, smoked cured salmon, sausages. Or we made pickles. Those were good.
Who's the guy on the phone in the background?
Hugh. Everyone else moved out of the picture. Could not be bothered.
What's his name?
Way to ruin it. Hugh.
His name is Q, like the letter in the alphabet.
Hugh. Like with a H. Hugh.
Hugh. Hugh's wearing Crocs.
They're Birkenstock Crocs, which makes them expensive Crocs.
I would fail him for that alone. Get out of here, Hugh, you Croc wearer. And I can't help but, and unfortunately we're not sharing this in a visual medium except between me and you, but I can't help but notice the location and the floor-to-ceiling windows.
Oh, yeah.
This school is bringing in the dough. That is a high-rent district. That is a premium building. Oh, thank God for the VA.
Thank you, VA. You're welcome for my service.
Welcome for your cervix. What?
No, they gave us. They actually gave us Veterans Day gift cards to Amazon.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and it's funny. So it's just me and this guy Levi. Levi was prior Army, and I was like, "Did you get an email about a free gift card of some sort?" And he was like, "Yeah, you want to go get it?" And everyone else in class was like, "Wait, what are you getting for free?" We had a great time. I also learned how to make roses out of butter.
How much was it?
$25.
Nice.
You actually get something with that.
Yeah,
I respected it.
You can buy, but stop sending me photos. What's wrong with you?
Lou, I learned how to make roses out of butter. Who would have thought?
Is that what this photo is?
Yes.
That is really beautiful. I mean, I would like to do that for Thanksgiving. Can you tell me how to do that?
Yeah.
Is it difficult?
No, I did it.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be nice? Like if you have a bread spread, you've got some rolls, and instead of having just like a stick of butter, just grab a petal.
And how much of this food did you take home to eat?
I just finished it. I got my COVID booster on Thursday, and I had been stocking my refrigerator so that I wouldn't have to leave my house while I agonized alone.
Well, I'm sorry you got your booster. In case you haven't heard, the second booster is right around the corner. That's supposed to be good for both boosters.
I don't care.
Yeah, but the first booster's not good enough for the second, but the second, gives you good enough for the first. And they expected, come out with a new booster on a monthly basis. And they're going to name the boosters kind of like they do hurricanes, just alphabetically with the names. So the booster should be like March.
Well, then you should prepare for agony like you've never experienced before.
Yes, I would not take a vaccine with your name on it. And I would
100% no.
I would run as fast as I could to get away from a hurricane with your name on it.
Oh, most definitely.
All right, so we made the...
but speaking of hurricane, real fast, is it snowing by you this week?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's not snowing by you?
No, but it looked like there was a blue spot on the radar, and I thought that the little thing made that to be very cold.
So there was snow. In between you and me, in Jersey, they got snow.
Well, as long as it's in between us, that's fine.
I'm cool with that. Send me your pictures. I can't wait for Zeus's. So the first time, I think we've already talked about this because I know I've said the phrase, and that was the first time I ever said picking up frozen dog poop was easy.
Oh, Zeusy boy.
So he goes out, we had a couple of really cold days, and he goes out and all of the grass is white and frosted. It hasn't snowed, but it's got a snow look to it. And he goes out there and like paw number one into the crunchiness. And he's like, you just see his entire brain go, this is not right. This is not right. This is not right.
They broke my yard. Dad, someone broke my yard.
I got to convince him, it's okay. It's okay. No worries. And then I got to walk out there and show him it's okay. And then he was, after a while. Plus, as soon as the sun hits it, it's gone. So there was always that. All right. So we were three things in your cooking journey we were going to talk about. We talked about the hors d'oeuvres. We talked about say the word.
Charcuterie.
I'm sure that's spelled with like a $sign and a
100% and a
silent
hashtag.
U.
A hashtag and a pound sign.
And the third thing we were going to talk about was
making sausage.
Oh yeah, making sausage. There's a great phrase in the business world that has been kind of adopted into the military, and it's the story of how the sausage is made. You got the sausage, you got the meat, you put the meat in the grinder, you add your spices to the grinder, you mix the meat, you mix the grinder, you get your casings, you throw the sausage and you put it through the casings, you link up your casings, blah, 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 blah. And then when it gets to the end, you put it on the grill, you cook it with the onions, you cook it with the peppers at this temperature, then you put it in the bun, which you put it on, and in the way of saying just cut to the chase is now, I just want to eat the sausage. I don't want to know the name of the animal it came from. I don't want to know how it was processed or what 11 herbs and spices you put in there. I just want to eat the sausage. Is the newer way of saying cut to the chase.
So I knew what sausage casings were made of. Well, right? I mean, I get it. I get that it's intestines. I knew this.
Your face says you didn't.
I did.
I think
the difference between
casings was real.
No. I knew what it was, but when you have an actual, like when you see in the store all natural casing, it's not the same. It's not the same as a real all natural casing that has weird tentacles coming off of it and things and smells like an intestine. And then it got all over my apron. I smelled like an intestine. I was miserable. And it's funny because I was working with Levi, Army guy, and we were cracking up. I was like, and this is disgusting. And it is so tedious. The process is so tedious. And the smell was a lot. And then I don't think that's not going to be something I get into.
All right. So how deep into the sausage making process you got? It sounds like there were some corners cut. It definitely sounds like there were some corners cut because the all natural casings are the same intestines that you're dealing with, except they've been processed. They've been cleaned.
They're clean, but it's still not a good smell. It's not. What you smell after. So when you get sausages, you poach them before you cook them. And when you poach them, that hot water takes out that gamey, natural scent that is in the casing. But when you just take the casing out of the package and rehydrate it in the water, that does not encourage one to eat the sausage. And it doesn't matter how good the mixture that you just created. We made like a roasted poblano pepper sausage. We made a dumpling pork sausage. We did the sausage that we made. Some of it did not go into casings because we had extra. That was delicious. I could eat it. I had some that I had brought home. I immediately cut them out of the casing and tossed it in a pan because I don't ever want to see a sausage casing ever again.
At what stage was the meat that you got to make the sausage? What kind of meat are we talking about?
Oh, we did pork.
Okay.
And then we did.
I mean, is the meat at that stage, or did you receive some packages of a meat you were told is pork?
No, we butchered off the bone.
Okay.
Because that's part of our school. Like we butcher. We don't butcher a whole pig, but they'll give us That's
a very important skill to know to be a chef.
Yeah,
okay.
Because that's the cheapest and freshest way to get meat.
So you got your extra expensive knives. You carve
super expensive,
right? Of course, and it's like a textbook. It's required, right? You have to buy it, and you've got to buy it through the school.
Well, it's included in the tuition.
Nice, thank you, Uncle Sam. So you carve it, you grind it, you add your 11 herbs and spices, you mix it. You run it through the process. You run it through the thing, the pushy, the tubey thingy, and you catch it on the other side.
Yeah, well, yeah. So you have your stuff. You have spices that you'll grind in with the meat. So you'll grind it once, and then you'll season it with your spices, and then you'll grind it again. But then you have other stuff that is larger. So like if you're doing salami or something that has like almonds, pistachios, the fat, that gets added after you've grinded it, obviously. And then you put it in the sausage maker.
So now that you've seen this process, the next time you go to a store and you see something like Oscar Mayer or whoever, these sausage companies like Johnson and whatever that make the sausage with the cheese inside them, no longer like slightly interesting to you.
No, I know exactly how it happened. And now I know, but I can't do the cheese because it never fails. I will bite it and it will come right. That hot molten lava of cheese will hit me right at the tip of my top lip and leave a huge burn. Happens every time. Can't do it.
Right. That's what I say about my herpes sores too.
Exactly why I can't do it. It looks so awful. I will not be fooled again.
It sounds like you had a great week. All right, so how many weeks do you have left?
I am done December 1st.
Wow. When do you go home?
I still have to do my externship, so 5 to 6 weeks.
An externship?
Yes.
And where will that have you working?
I have no idea. I really need to get on that.
Do you have a choice?
Yeah.
What was the one that recently had the tourists from Texas losing their mind at the front door because of the mask policy?
I know exactly what video you're talking about. I don't remember the restaurant.
Choose that
but
one.
I'm like, it's always people from Texas. And then I go to Texas and I'm like, all right, play it cool, right? Because I don't care if you don't want to wear your mask. I don't care if you want to wear it, great. If you don't want to wear it, great. There are some places I'm going to wear my mask. There are other places I'm not going to wear my mask. Sometimes I just want to wear my mask because I don't want to smell where I'm walking. Like literally none of that happened. There were people who were wearing their masks. There were people who weren't wearing their masks. Literally nobody cared. But I'm like, but why is it every single time it's tourists from Texas? Texas woman. Texas is becoming the new Florida man.
How dare you disparage Florida man?
He's just not been around lately, and it's very disappointing.
Oh, no, Florida man's right. I had an interesting kind of epiphany recently, and it deals with social media as a whole. Could you imagine, not too long in the distant past, how people lived their lives normally? You know, they got up, they went to work, they came home, they did normal things, and the world didn't seem scary at all. They weren't worried about a bunch of stuff that they don't know nothing about. They didn't have any of these issues. I compare that now to living in a small town that has no crime and then reading the New York Daily News every day and losing your mind. You live, 2,000 miles away in a little town of 100 people and nothing ever happens. But, for your news source, you choose the New York Daily News and people are dying left and right. People are killing each other and all these other things are happening. And I think that's kind of what social media has done for everybody. For the most part, everybody's got a normal existence. But they get on the internet and then they start reading things from other people that they know nothing about, situations they know nothing about, and they've chosen these, this is something I must get involved in, and my opinion must be known. And we've really kind of taken a turn as a species. Probably. I will do something with that. All right. You've talked about your food. Let me talk about my food. Holy cow, baking is hard. I'll just start with that.
No.
If I had to put a label on the concoction that I made this week, I would call it the, I got this bread. I got this bread is the bread a guy makes without looking at the recipe, because once previously he had made bread and it seemed really easy. So when it came time to make bread again, I don't need a recipe. I got this. Oh, I got this.
You're a liar and you're wrong.
And
I don't got it.
I do not got it. I know the critical mistake I made in this bread. I did not let the little yeast creatures do what the food sea monkeys do what they need to do. I didn't give them time to fizz.
You did not let them bloom.
I didn't, and then my bread didn't really rise. It rose just a little bit, and I beat it down. It rose just a little bit. It got a little fluffy. Check, bro. What a disaster. And it's the worst part about it.
You made a cracker?
I was trying to do, it was more like a bagel consistency if a bagel had been petrified.
Bagel from the galley. Check. Understood.
We had talked about it in the past. In order to have something to chat about, I tried some food experiments. And we had talked about this cinnamon roll. And I said, quite enthusiastically, "Oh, I bet you I could make a cinnamon roll in the Instapot." Wrong.
You can make one in the air fryer.
Well, I did it. I did this. I tried to make it the same way I made the artisan bread. I tried to, make a dough. I said it the way you told me to say it. Shut up.
I was just kidding.
Stop it. So
I do what I want.
I took the same bread concept, added a little too much salt, didn't let the yeast rise, but still put all the cinnamon, all the butter, and all the sugar in it, trying to make this thing amazing. And I'm going to have to throw it all away. It's currently boxed up in the fridge.
Did you
Talk to me. Go ahead.
put the cinnamon and sugar? Did you put the cinnamon in while you were waiting for the dough to rise?
I did, because I thought it was genius. I was
Cinnamon is an antibacterial and will kill your yeast. Sugar will feed it. Cinnamon will kill it. So next time,
I was doing a video for in the cucina with TK. I was doing a cooking video. And I remember, and I have it on video, I'll share it with you. It's wonderful. The epiphany I had, it's like, oh, I'm making cinnamon bread. It just makes total sense to put the cinnamon in the dough.
you can do it once it's risen. If you're going to beat it down, let it rise again and then fold it in. Totally fine. But it will, if you use too much, it will kill your yeast off before it's fully formed.
I'm going to say this. If you take all the ingredients into consideration, it cost less than a Yankee Candle, and the house smelled amazing for hours.
That's literally the worst, though. When you're making something and you're like, oh, it's going to be so good. And then you look at it and you're like, how do you smell like this and taste like this?
It was horrible. But it smelled amazing. But now, again, every week I learned something. I learned that eggplant is poisonous when you eat it raw. Didn't know that. I now learned that cinnamon kills yeast, which is strange because I knew a stripper named Cinnamon, and that's not necessarily true.
I knew you were going somewhere with that. I saw it in the pause in your face. I knew you couldn't resist. I was like, oh, how bad is this going to get?
I'm going to take it right up to the line. And interestingly enough, when I do have to censor something, and I listen back to the show, I'm laughing at the upcoming beep before the beep happens. It's like, oh, I had to beep this. I'm just thinking to myself, right? So when we're listening in the car today, Jules, she doesn't understand why I laughed like 3 seconds before the beep happened. Because I knew it was coming, and it was funny to me. I was like, oh, I had to beep this part.
I want to hear about the comedy show.
All right. Well, wow. There's so much to talk about. And, we like to keep these things to a tight hour. So I'm going to give you a quick rundown, and maybe we'll talk more about comedy as comedy goes on, as life goes on. A longtime friend of mine was performing at the Harrisburg Comedy Zone this weekend on Friday and Saturday. Him and his partner, who I've come to know, especially during quarantine, was going to be with him, and a new cat I didn't know. So I hit up Will Clifton, and I said, hey, man, you want to get lunch? He's like, sure. So we do. We go to a lunch place. Fun story about lunch places, but a cautionary tale. I say a whole bunch of stuff here. I used to say a whole bunch of stuff on the radio. I do it to make people laugh, and I find it funny, and we move on, and we do a show a week later. But with the prospect of me possibly getting back into comedy at the local level, if nothing more than that, just comedy at the local level, that involves writing material, which I've been doing, and that also involves not sharing the material with the general public.
Right.
So I can tell you the experience of eating pizza in Pennsylvania. What's going on? Are
you hear that? It's my radiator.
Oh, you finally got heat. Good for you.
I don't know how long that's going to last. So
The experience of eating pizza in a restaurant in Pennsylvania gives me about 5 minutes of material. It was just insane. The day before going to a Japanese steakhouse with my wife in Pennsylvania is about 5 minutes of material. So the material is coming, the material is going down on paper, and where normally I would just throw it out here and just rant about it and have fun with it, I realize there's an audience out there that we haven't reached.
Right.
And it's those comics, we call them road comics, those guys who, wherever they are in their career, it still forces them to get in a car and drive for hours and hours and hours to the next weekend gig or the next week-long gig. And I want to start reaching out to the road comics, and I want to, tell people in what cities that they'll be coming to. Then you can listen to them, give them personal recommendations for those people that I know, and give those guys on the road something to keep them from falling asleep for at least an hour. At least an hour a week while you're driving from town to town. Tune us in, and we'll give you a shout out. We'll do the things. So I want to talk about the comedy. Here's what I will talk about. So I got to have lunch with Will. We reminisced for a long time. It was good. I got to meet Covell Hudson, a really cool cat, a funny guy. He's got, he's going to be doing, you'll see him again at some place sometime. Covell's funny. And I didn't get to meet Ty at lunch because he wasn't feeling well. So I got to meet Ty the next night at the show, and he still wasn't feeling well. And that story ends with Ty in the hospital because he's not feeling well. Ty's working through some issues. He's on a donor list, but the man still got up. You think about that warrior spirit. You don't have to be a warrior to have a warrior spirit. Comedy keeps Ty going. Ty's good at comedy, so he's still doing it, even as his body's kind of failing him. To watch this man who couldn't speak. I mean, all right, so going back to quarantine conversations, while we were doing quarantine conversations, we went 100 episodes in a row. Will and Ty, they went 100 episodes doing with this thing called the Bathrobe Boys. And it worked out great because they started every night at midnight in the Central Time Zone. So I was at work in the office, and I could just plug them in, and I could listen to them and interact a little bit. Never did get Will or Ty to come on to quarantine conversations, but I listened to their show while I did mine. They were funny, and it was fun to watch. And I wanted to engage Ty. I wanted to talk to him a little bit, but he just didn't have the air. He couldn't. And I felt bad because I wanted to talk to him more, but I couldn't. And I felt bad because he's over there, he's talking about he's got some throat problems and he's nursing some honey tea, and I could just see he's just beat down. But when it comes time for him to perform, that man walks up on stage. And although his voice was failing him and his lungs was failing him, he did a solid set. He got up there, he made the people laugh, even though he talked like Mickey Mouse from South Park. It really... he couldn't. He could, he's got a lot of things going on, so his normal voice had failed him. What he did for those 30 minutes, and it was speaking, it is funny, and it's sad at the same time. But if he had finished that set with, "I'm Tai Fu Panda, thanks for," I would have peed myself or peed a nearby bottle. If he could have finished, if he could have just squeezed out 4 words in a normal voice, I would have died. That place would have erupted. That's Friday night. Saturday morning, I wake up. I find out he's in the ICU at a Philadelphia hospital. And he's not going to be able to complete the trip, and he's trying to recover the best he can. Will has set up a fundraiser. So Will is the creator of the Veterans of Comedy, and it's a good organization that tries to help comics and help veterans. And through that organization, he's raising some money to try to help out Ty. So I'm going to throw that in the link section so that anybody that is listening that's got a couple of bones they want to throw towards helping, whether it's anybody, whether it be a vet or whether it be a comic or whether it be a total stranger, I find myself doing that a lot now. I throw money at things that As a young
You want my Venmo? Do you want my Venmo?
As a young man in New York City, I would walk past a man and his 4 children begging for money and not even give it a second thought. Even if I had money in my pocket, giving money to beggars was nothing that ever crossed my mind. And then as I get older, I got a little bit of success behind me. I got a little money in my pocket. And then I'll be on Facebook and comics that I never knew, but I know people who know them. They died and they don't have any money for a funeral, and I'm like, all right, I'll throw them some money. And I'm not rich, but
I think it's nice, though, because back in the day when someone had something, the church would have a car wash or whatever. But I like now that I'm far away from most of the people that I know and have known a long time. I like that if they need help, there's a link and I don't have to go to a car wash. I can give them exactly what I can afford. No questions asked. No, is that all? Nothing. I don't even have to tell them my name. Can drop them some money and be about my business. That's it. I like that. I don't have the money to give to people that I don't know. I don't have the money to give to some people that I do know.
But you do. We all do.
I do. Yeah, I do.
We all have $5 to throw at a stranger. And if we could ever collectively pick a stranger a week, you know what me and the kids used to do? We used to write letters to people in Alaska. Me and my daughters, we get together. We'd write a couple of letters. Hey, we live in Florida and you live in Alaska, and that must suck to be you. Now, this is before.
Did they write back?
No, we didn't leave a return address. This is before all of the Alaska TV shows that let you know that, wow, Alaska is actually like a real place, and there's real people that live there.
It's the only state I've never been to.
I have also never been to Alaska. I have similar experiences from living in Newfoundland. I kind of understand the concept, but I've never been to Alaska. So yeah, we would pick out names out of the phone book or the internet, and we would get a name and an address in Alaska, and we'd send them a little letter. Hi, we live in Florida, you live in Alaska, that must suck. Here's $5. Hope that can buy you a beer, And we would randomly send $5 to people at random that just lived in Alaska. If we ever set up I would love to set up just random. Can you imagine just randomly, not necessarily changing someone's life, but just really making someone's day? I did it for 7 years straight with the Road to Santa run. We made a lot of people's days, but on a much smaller scale, in my dreams of grandeur, in the glorious dreams of grandeur I get to, I won't say Oprah famous, I'll say less than Ellen famous. Who's the Williams? Wendy Williams famous. Yes,
I will support that.
We get the Wendy Williams level of fame.
Same class level, hands down.
we do a weekly blind fundraiser, and then randomly just pick people out of a phone book, out of an internet directory, just something completely. We're throwing money at the Grand Master of the Ku Klux Klan and some.
No.
You don't know who he is. You throw the money at the guy, just almost random, almost anonymous. Hey, it's T-Bone and Chick Brew, and our friends decided that you were the lucky winner. Here's $5,000 that we collected this week. Hope it makes your day. And he is the a racist, and he is the Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan. And then he looks at us, he goes, "Wow, I never expected that." And the people that send him the money are of all different colors and flavors. And he's going, you know what? Maybe my life has been wrong.
New robes. No, that's not what he would say. It's literally not how it works.
I have hope. You say new robes. That's funny. What are we going to do? A background check on random people? We're trying to make things nice here.
No.
Publishers Clearinghouse does it. Although in my existence, I've never seen one of those prize patrols ever.
Zero. Only on the TV.
I've seen a freaking Google car on more than one occasion. I've seen a Google car. I've never seen a prize patrol. I think Publishers Clearinghouse is full of. So that was my week in comedy. I went to the Comedy Zone here in Harrisburg. It's a nice setup. I'm going to tell you, whoever painted in traditional comedy, in the Comedy Zone world, a lot of the Comedy Zones have these murals with famous comedians around the walls.
Seen some.
And then whoever did the Harrisburg one must have been paid a lot of money because he continued to do the mural onto the stage itself. So coming in from the left and coming in from the right, you have all of these mural paintings of famous people. And then in the center, you just got a bunch of mouse, big laughing, gaping, rolling stone mouse. And it's really, really distracting. It's too much information. It's hard to see there's too much color from a feng shui perspective. If there's anything I didn't like about the Comedy Zone at Harrisburg, it's their stage is just too much. It's too much for the eyeballs. But somebody paid a lot of money to get that done. So the chance of that ever getting changed is probably never going to happen unless fire is involved.
I set fire to the club. TK's alibi.
Do you have
Headlines?
Of course.
Connecticut judge orders arrest the Florida man whose lawyer says he's dead.
Now, you said Florida man wasn't in the news anymore, and our first headline.
I had a different headline, and then I searched it, and this is the best one I could find. It wasn't even
Florida man is back. Connecticut judge said what?
Connecticut judge orders arrest of Florida man whose lawyer says he's dead.
This is called a delaying tactic. What I am doing here is explaining to the listening audience what's happening. While in the back of my brain, I'm trying to process and understand this whole thing. I think I've got it, but let me continue my explanation. If you have never listened before, or if you have listened before, welcome back. If you haven't listened before, hi, how are you? Here's what's happening. Chick Brew reads a headline pulled from the, real world. She gives it to me, and my job is to interpret the headline and explain to you the unknown story behind the story. Now, this Connecticut judge has issued an arrest warrant for a Florida man whose lawyer says he is dead. What the judge is saying is, I am a lawyer, because judges are usually lawyers, except in small municipalities where they're elected officials. So the judge is a lawyer, and the lawyer in Florida is saying, hey, my client's dead. And the judge in Connecticut goes, your client's not dead. You're a lawyer, therefore you're lying. And the Florida lawyer, he's like, yes, I'm a lawyer, but down in Florida, dead is dead. And I could go back and forth, and I'm not going to, because it's too funny to me trying to do those two different voices. All right. So the Connecticut judge tells the Florida lawyer, get your client up here. He's under arrest. Florida lawyer says, my client's dead. Connecticut judge, not to be undone, says, prove it. You're a lawyer. You understand the law. Prove that he's dead. Florida lawyer probably sends him a fax of something like a death certificate. Connecticut judge goes, that's not good enough. I want more. So then Florida lawyer sends the Connecticut judge like an obituary from the local newspaper. Josh Allen Smith died on this day, and his betrothed left behind. I don't know how obituaries are written. I don't read I do jokingly read obituaries. Another story, another time. The Connecticut judge is still not satisfied. The Florida lawyer is in a quandary. He doesn't know what to do other than provide a death certificate and a newspaper announcement that his client is dead. Florida lawyer digs up client, rents U-Haul, drives to Connecticut, leaves client in judge's front lawn.
I was really going for a weird twist where Florida man was Florida lawyer trying to fake his own death. I don't have friends.
He was representing himself.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't know what the actual story is.
No, we don't. That's the fun part about it. But you're right. Had I taken that in that direction, and the final twist is, instead of him being dumped off, it's revealed that the man was representing himself.
Yeah.
Giggle, giggle, ha, ha. All right. I didn't do good on that one. That was a tough one.
That was a hard one.
Yeah.
I got another one.
All right, here we go. It's headline. Florida man hit by car, then run over by school bus. Oh, that's a good day. That's a good day. In Florida has the largest elderly population in the United States. People think it's Arizona and New Mexico because it's dry heat. Nope. It's God's waiting room. It's the penis. It's the peninsula. It is Florida. So we got a bunch of little blue-haired old knuckle drivers. And a knuckle driver, if you don't know what that is, it's just when you look at them driving, all you see is a pair of knuckles on top of the steering wheel. Because of their age, they have shrunk to the point where they can no longer see over the hood. They're just using the force. If there is such a thing as a Jedi, it's elderly people driving in Florida. So they're using the force with their knuckles and their blue hair, just cruising along, and they take out people all the time. And I've seen some wonderful, in a morbid sense of the word, I've seen some wonderful pedestrian incursions.
Takedowns?
Yeah. And not as cool as the deer, which we didn't even get to the deer report. By the way, on the way to the adult arcade, 7 deer dead northbound, 5 deer dead on return. That's 12 deer. Yeah, 12 deer in a 20-mile round trip. Pennsylvania. Get your stuff together. Deer fencing, deer snipers. Get the deer off the highway.
This poor Florida man gets hit twice.
Yeah.
Once by a school bus.
The school bus actually saved him. The school bus, believe this or not, in the strangest of events, the school bus actually saved him. So he gets hit by a car. Ow, that hurt. He falls into the street. Then he gets hit by a school bus. Boom. That hurts a little bit more. Buses are bigger. He falls down, crack his head open. But the bus driver of the school bus immediately deploys the child protection system and puts the flashing stop lights out, right? So all the other traffic, both northbound and southbound, are going to come to a stop, and the man's going to receive medical attention. And everything's going to work out for him. It's going to be fine. Once upon a time, a man decided that the smartest way to commit suicide was to walk into traffic on I-95 at night. Now, on I-95 in Florida, the average speed limit's about 130,000 miles an hour square. It's long, it's flat, it's straight, and people be getting it. This man stepped out into traffic in the late night and got hit hard. Boom, got planted, but it didn't kill him. The first impact did not kill him, but it launched him. He was still alive, but he wasn't able to get out of traffic before the next one hit him. And the next one hit him.
Are you going to leave this in? This is terrible. This is one of those things that would get us kicked off the radio.
Yeah,
elevator.
But we're not on the radio anymore. This is a true story. I can't help it that this is a bad way to commit suicide. As if there is any good way. There isn't. Don't do it. It's a coward's way out. That would get me kicked off radio.
100%.
But it's true. It's true. Suicide, as I've always said, is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. Whatever it is, you'll get over it. Trust me. Look at a homeless guy living on the street and his entire life is in a refrigerator box. That guy's got a girlfriend. Your life ain't that bad. Push on. Move on. It's going to get better. Everything gets better with time. Anyway, away from our suicide prevention notice, moving forward with the true story of a man who gets run over trying to commit suicide, successfully commit suicide. His remains were spread over 3 miles. The troopers estimate that he was run over by at least 100 cars. Yeah.
It's too many.
Yes. It is. So luckily, our guy was hit by a car and a school bus that immediately deployed the child protection system, and he was life-flighted out of there. Story of the day. It's a wonderful story. Florida man survives what could have been anywhere else a fatal accident. They can't see your face. I can see your face.
That's okay. I'm traumatized. I don't know what to do with that information. It's a lot on a Sunday.
Yes, wear your reflective belt and stay out of traffic. I've always said, we've pushed traffic safety for years. I always said humans make horrible hood ornaments. And children should not be speed bumps. True story.
Suck on that.
So we've done headlines. We've had a really fun show. Oh, what?
I'm going to give you Caitlin Yingling.
All right. As everybody knows, I write all right, first of all, if you don't know, let's go ahead and explain that. The Birthday Burn segment is done like this. Chick Brew gives me two people that she wants to acknowledge their birthdays, and I give her two people, and she can acknowledge their birthdays. The reason that we do the old switcheroo there is so that we can roast our friends without offending our friends. It is a hands-off, white glove treatment. She can say anything she wants about any of my friends because she doesn't know them, and I can say anything I want about her friends because I don't know them. For the most part, occasionally our paths cross and we have friends that we know, and we do not burn them for the fear of offending them. We are not offenders. Regardless of our history, we are currently not offenders. So we take these extra steps. Me, because I tend to be a little bit more critical than she is, because she's such a nice and wonderful person and hates this bit, I pre-write my insults as an extra layer of security that these things were written without any knowledge of the person whatsoever. However, because you said the name is Yingling, I'm going to tell you a true story. Not necessarily a burn, except on me. Caitlin, happy birthday. Caitlin Yingling. Once upon a time, I was sent into another battalion spaces, and I was supposed to go find Senior Chief Yingling. And I had never heard this name before, and it's my first time living in California. And when I hear the name Yingling, I assume that it is Asian in nature. And I didn't understand, so I asked for clarification. I was like, what was that name again? And they said Yingling. And I said, what was that? They said Yingling. And I, being the smart person that I am, I squinted my eyes and said, you mean Yingling? And they said, yeah. And when you go over there, ask for him just like that. Okay, mission accepted. So I go into this other battalion spaces, and the spaces are empty, and I come across one person. And he's sitting there, and he's got his feet up on the desk, and he's all relaxed and cool. And I said, excuse me, and I can't see his rank, right? I said, I'm looking for a Senior Chief Yingling. And he slowly turns. Now, mind you, I forgot to mention this part. The most Caucasian person in the building is the person that I'm talking to. So when I do my ancient Chinese secret gag there, he slowly turns and says, say that name again? And I said, Senior Chief Ying. And then I start to see there's a Y in his name, and there's a bunch of letters in a formation I have never seen before. I did not know Yingling is an old German name. I just assumed from the sound of it, it was it was Asian in nature. So your friend's not Asian, is she?
No.
Good, good. Where do you know her from?
I actually know her from boot camp.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
You wouldn't happen to know.
Your dad is Marty Yingling, Purple Heart recipient, Bronze Star recipient, CB extraordinaire. I love him, and I love you. Birthday burn gone bad.
Well, you had it coming, okay?
Well, if we could tell a story, we're always going to take the time to tell a story. Are you ready? You could do this. I'm going to give you someone who means a lot to me, near and dear to my very heart. The person who bought me my very first tomahawk steak, Ben Medina. Senior.
Senior, I'm going to assume that makes him old, fat, bald, but with a hot sun.
Fat, bald, and old with a hot sun. Birthday burn.
Sorry.
Pretty close to being accurate. Happy birthday, Ben. Again, folks, remember the reason we do these birthday burns is to punish you and to teach you that you shouldn't put your real birthday on the internet, because if you do that, then the terrorists win. That's what happens. Who do you got for me next?
Jason McLeod.
Jason McLeod. Can't do much with that name. I've never racially insulted a McLeod as far as I ever know. Where do you know him from?
I know him from Texas.
Okay, just because if I'm going to depart once, I might as well depart twice. He's a Jason, and he's from Texas. I imagine Jason's got a speech impediment. He's probably got some serious mental issues. He probably wants you to put the lotion on the basket. He's that kind of guy who would wear a skin suit. He's a skin flute. What? No, a skin suit. I said he would wear someone else's face as a face mask. Because didn't Jason wear a mask to keep the mask? Who knows? Here's what I'm going to tell you about Jason. He's probably somebody you're going to see on Dateline in the future. And he's probably sick, sadistic, probably tortures animals. He's not loved by anybody other than his gerbil. And the only reason the gerbil loves him is because he murdered the cat. And that's Jason's birthday burn.
Oh, goodness. Well, I'm glad he's far away from me because now it's just all scary.
All right, here we go. My good friend, Brady Labello.
Just got to get through it. Okay.
Hold on. Let me help you just a little bit. Okay. Labello means, and I'm not kidding, the beautiful man in Italian. His last name is the beautiful man.
Well, if you have to explain it to me, it's probably opposite day. He's probably ugly. Poor guy.
At least one more insult. Come on.
Oh.
Hey, call him stupid, too.
He might not be stupid, though.
He's definitely not stupid. Go ahead and call him stupid.
He's a dumb bunny.
He's dumb and ugly. He is la non bello. Birthday burn. All right, I kind of gave you the assist on that one, only to make up for my Yingling story. And that's he's not a dumb guy. He's a nuclear engineer. He's very smart.
Oh.
He's very ugly. He's very ugly. And his wife married him out of sympathy for his ugliness. Birthday burn. Times 2. Extra. All right, what have we covered? We covered, we covered a lot today. We did the deer report. We did the good, the bad, the ugly food. I will be posting some information for the Veterans of Comedy site to send money to assist Taifu Panda as he is recovering in the hospital. We talked about Will C. We talked about Covell Hudson and Levi and Hugh and Caitlin Yingling and Jason McLard and Jason McLard. I don't know why.
And Jan, we talked about Jan. Don't forget we talked about Jan.
Of course we talked about Jan.
She's just the best.
Just talk about Jan, baby.
That's weird. Don't ever do that again. It's my mom. It's weird.
All right, I got to chop this up and make it bite-size. In case you didn't listen to last week's episode, at the very end of our episode is a ad for our friend Darryl McLean and the Darryl McLean Show. If you want to, you're on the road, you want something to listen to, he's something else to listen to. It's something, it's different, and it costs you nothing. So it's the Darryl McLean Show, and it's an ad immediately following the end of this podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, I remind you today, as I remind you every day, be the best person that you can be, and if you were a great person today, be an even better person tomorrow.
And don't forget that you are loved.
Thank you for listening to T-Bone and Chick Brew. If you enjoyed that show, you should check out the Darryl McLean Show, independent media that won't reinforce tribalism. We have one planet and nobody's leaving, so let's reason together. You can find the Darryl McLean Show at the same place you actually listen to this show. Give it a shot.